All right, here to discuss criminal defense attorney Joanna Nieves. Thank you so much, Joanna, for being with us today to help break all this down. So this is day 2 of her sister being on the stand. The first day when she first took the stand, we saw Monica really kind of cry quite a bit, and they have a very close relationship. When they both lived in the same city, they saw each other every single day. And then Monica moves to California. But the point of this is, this sister has observed firsthand the relationship between Monica and Fabio, calling it at sometimes dynamic, and then talking about Monica's actions. Things like she wanted to put up a reward. The police told her not the right time, you need to wait. How are you taking this all in terms of a witness that supports either the prosecution or the defense?
Right. It's kind of a toss-up at this point, because this is somebody that's very close to their family member. They're supporting the statement that she did show that she cared. She was this grieving widow. She was looking for a reward. It wasn't that it was all, or to offer a reward. It wasn't all about this insurance money like the prosecution is trying to play it. But at the same time, what's coming out in testimony is that she didn't share everything with her sister. She even kept secrets from her sister. She was having an affair that nobody, even her close sister, didn't know about. So right now, it's to be determined how compelling this witness's testimony is.
Yeah, I love that, and I was going to ask you the next question, but you already answered it, and it's about that very point, the fact she didn't know everything that was going on. Now, remember, there was also testimony by her sister, Anna Larson, that she had met Robert Baker. She had been coached by him in racquetball, and so she certainly was familiar with him as well. Stand by, if you would, please, because we're going to have more Cementilli in this case, the trial. The defendant's daughter takes the stand. That's big. We're going to bring you that right after this break. Welcome back to Court TV Live. I'm Ashley Wilcott. Thank you so much for watching along with us. Right now, we are watching testimony out of California, where the defendant, Monica Cementilli, is standing trial for murder of her husband. The state says that she conspired with her boyfriend, Robert Baker, to kill her husband, Fabio, in order to continue their affair and to also cash in on a $1 million life insurance policy. On the stand right now, a new witness, Monica and Fabio's daughter, Isabella. She's on direct examination by the defense.
Thank you, Anna. May I address you as Isabella?
Any way you want. I'll address Ms. Cementilli.
Okay. Well, I know you as Bella, is that correct?
Yes.
And we met, what, 7 years ago after your mother was arrested?
Yes.
Okay, and I was retained as her attorney, correct?
Yes.
Have we spoke many times since then over the last 7 years?
Yes.
Most of them having to do with scheduling and how the trial is proceeding, you know, if it's going to proceed, so forth and so on. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. And we'll get to this, but obviously you were the one who discovered the body of your father on the day of his murder, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So you were the subject of many interviews, I assume, by the police. Is that right?
Yes.
You remember, and also you were the one who made the 911 call.
Yes.
Okay, and tried to revive him following the commands or orders of the person on the 911 call and trying to save his life, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So you were interviewed, I take it, that night by the police?
Yes.
Did you, I take it, you tell me what condition you were in emotionally when that occurred?
That day when I was interviewed by the police, I tried my best. I mean, I was crying. I was in shock, so.
Your mother was also present at that time, correct?
Yes.
How long after you arrived at the scene and saw your father out on the patio did your mother arrive?
It was probably less than 10 minutes she was there. She was home.
Your mother is the defendant in this case, Monica Cementilli?
Yeah.
Okay. And can you describe what condition she was in after realizing that Fabio had been murdered?
She fell to her knees when she came home. She was screaming, crying. She couldn't stand up on her own. The minute she walked outside and saw what was happening, she fell to the floor.
Did that condition you observed change to any great degree the rest of that first night?
No.
When you say crying, did you see tears?
Yeah.
How do you know they were tears?
Because she was crying. Her face was wet.
Let me ask you this, Bella. Before, well, a little background. How old are you now?
24.
And how old were you at the time of your father's murder?
16.
Okay. And you were living on Victoria?
Yes.
Queen Victoria Drive, is that it?
Yes.
Did I get it right? And you had moved there from Canada, is that correct?
Yes.
How old were you when you moved to Los Angeles?
10.
From Canada? 10?
Yes.
And you moved there with your father and your sister, Jessica, is that right?
Yes, and my mom.
And your mom. Could you describe briefly how you believe your parents' marriage was leading up to the time your father died?
Yeah, they were best friends. They always went on dates together. And then if they went out, they always took us with them too. We were like a unit. We went on vacations together. They always told me to marry someone who's your best friend. And they were best friends, so.
Was your father a good father?
Yes.
Was your mother a good mother?
Yes.
You know now.
We'll have more testimony in the trial for Monica Simontilli after the break, but also coming up, we are tracking the military wife murder trial in Kentucky, and our own Kelly Craft joins us live with a report in the case against Jordan Henning. Stay tuned, we'll be right back.
Tonight on Closing Arguments, new details emerge in the search for an American college student who vanished in the Dominican Republic. We'll bring you the very latest in this developing story.
Closing Arguments with Vinny Politan, tonight at 8/7 Central, only on Court TV.
You feel that?
The NWSL is on ION.
It's game time.
Showing off a little skill now, kids!
The new Saturday Night Out is on ION, starting March 15th at 7 p.m. Find ION wherever you watch.
ION. It's on.
Before we go back into court in California, we have an update out of Kentucky and another live trial that we're tracking here at Court TV, the military wife murder trial. Joining me now in studio is Court TV legal correspondent Kelly Craft with all the latest. Good afternoon, Kelly. Always great to be on with you. Tell us, I understand that defense counsel made a motion for a mistrial this morning. Tell us about that.
Well, hi there, Judge Ashley. Yes, the second day of this case, and fireworks abound already. So this morning, defense counsel did make that motion for a mistrial, leading the judge to eventually tell him to take a seat. So the reason for the mistrial, defense counsel made this motion saying that it concerned a posting on Facebook, which was indicating, according to defense counsel, that he was racist. Let's go ahead and listen to what the judge had to say to him.
Sorry that you've been called a racist, Mr. Eggert. I don't think you're racist. I hope you're not. I hate being called names on Facebook. I'm not going to get into a diatribe about the downfall of Western civilization because of social media over us being called names because of the positions that we have. So let's move forward. If it has to do with that post, I will, as I did yesterday, voir dire the jury if they have not had any type of heard, seen, anything of that nature, then we'll move on.
The judge told him that since he, defense counsel, could not identify a particular juror that would have made the posting, or even that a juror would have seen the posting, that really his whole entire argument was just not relevant to these proceedings. He wouldn't even let defense counsel, Judge Ashley, put it into the record. That motion for a mistrial was denied.
Wow. I mean, fireworks for sure. Now, I know then that we had a first witness today. Who was that witness and what were the takeaways for you?
Brandon Savant. And so he is an acquaintance of the defendant. That's how he described himself. He said we wouldn't use the word friends, but an acquaintance. And he described being at that birthday party, that impromptu birthday party for Ashley, the wife, the victim in this case, the wife of the defendant who you're looking at there. And he described an awkward moment that took place later on in the evening. Why don't we go ahead and listen to a bit of his testimony?
Just before we left, he stepped back over to the side of Ashley and all, because at that point we're all saying, all right, well, it's going to be time for us to go. And said something, can't remember what he said, but when he goes to say it, he goes and put his hand cupped like this behind her neck, like that, and says it, and she goes, okay, I'm going to bed now, and all. And so we're like, all right. And so she starts to get up to go walk away. We're like, all right, well, yeah, we'll see you. Talk to you later.
After that, Brandon testified that at the party, everyone seemed fine. Nothing seemed really that out of the ordinary, and certainly there was no indication that anyone's life would be in danger.
Yeah, it's a crazy story, really, and how it escalated. We'll have to see what the jury decides. But speaking of the jury, a little unique, you and I were discussing, this is a state in which the jury does get to ask questions of the witnesses. Are there any questions that stood out to you?
Yeah, two actually did, Judge Ashley. It's always fascinating when we get to hear from jurors and what they're thinking, their takeaways and what they want to ask witnesses. So one of the juror questions was to Brandon, asking if he knew if that Ashley was fearful of her husband. And he said, no, she just would dismiss him. Another question is, were there signs of abuse from Ashley toward Jordan? And he responded, never. And he described Ashley as goofy, bubbly, and happy. So that's how the witness responded to those questions.
All right. Thank you so much, Kelly Craft. We appreciate you as always. And now let's turn back to California, where the defendant, Monica Cimentilli, is standing trial in the murder of her husband. On the stand right now is still the couple's daughter, Isabella, a defense witness. Let's go back in for more of the direct examination.
Out, I assume at some point that your mom was having an affair with Robert Baker, correct?
Yes, the day she was arrested.
Okay. And how'd you feel about that?
I didn't believe it at first. I was pretty flustered and frustrated. And then they told me she was arrested, and then I went home after that and met up with my sister.
Did that affect your feelings towards your mother in terms of her marriage with your father?
Yeah.
How?
I was upset. Yeah.
Had you had any idea that that was occurring until your mother's arrest?
No.
Okay. And up to that time, had you seen your parents appear to be very happy together?
Yes, very happy.
So let me ask you this. On the day of the murder, do you remember, well, let me ask you first, do you remember waking up, what time that was?
Yeah, it was 6:45 in the morning.
And what did you do that morning?
I went to school.
Were you going to school regularly then?
Yes.
And what school was that?
Agora High School.
So what time did you leave the house?
7:25, usually, 7:30.
Okay. And did you drive to school?
Yes.
What were you driving?
A Fiat, a white Fiat.
Okay. Did you notice whether your father was home that morning?
Yes, I did.
And was he home?
Yes.
Did you say hi to him?
Yes.
What was he doing when you saw him?
Just making coffee as I was leaving.
Did you know that morning whether he was going to work or not?
I did not know.
Did he at times stay home from work and skip work?
Yes, sometimes.
How often was that?
Once every few months.
When did you find out, if you did, that he had stayed home that day and had not got into work?
I didn't know.
When did you find out?
When I came home.
During the course of the investigation?
Yes.
So you were out the entire day until you returned
Yes.
to home, is that right?
Yes.
What time did you get out of school that day?
Around 3 o'clock.
Was that normal?
Yes.
And normally, would you come home from school?
Yes.
How long would it take you normally to go from Agoura High School to home at 3 o'clock in the afternoon of a weekday?
30 to 45 minutes.
Did you have anything, though, planned that day before coming home?
I had a job interview.
Okay. Did your mother know about that?
Yes.
Okay. And where was that job interview and with who?
It was at Italia Deli with the manager.
Where?
With the manager in
yes.
Agoura Hills.
And approximately, or if you know the address, do you know the address?
I don't know the address. It's on Canaan and Thousand Oaks Boulevard.
And how far was that from Agoura High School?
5 minutes.
How would you get there, or how did you get there that day, if you remember?
I drove.
And what route did you take?
I took Canaan to Thousand Oaks, that intersection.
All right, Joanna Nieves with us still. Tell us what you think of really the foundation being laid by this daughter, because she's giving us a timeline, what time she left the home, that Fabio was home. We haven't yet gotten to the details around the murder of Fabio. How do you think this is faring so far for the defense?
So far, I think she's a likable witness. She was a young girl when this happened. Naturally, everybody is going to feel a level of compassion for her. And I think what the key thing here to keep in mind is that she was young. She's not too young that she can't articulate what happened. But there's a point where she starts talking about her parents' relationship. Well, they were a good mom. He was a good dad. But a lot happens behind bedroom doors that sometimes we protect our children from seeing what's going on. We protect them from the dangers in the world, and sometimes we might be protecting them from the truth of the relationship. So we'll see how this unfolds, but of course they're laying that foundation that this was a secure, happy family, and she's a credible witness to this point.
And of course, I would expect that cross-examination may try to attack her credibility to show that she's biased because she was closer to her mom. But just in the last 20 seconds, how hard is it to walk that line to make sure you don't offend the jury going after a victim?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's all about the approach, trying to get the answers out, but at the same time, expecting that people are going to see her as a traumatized individual who lost her father. She was young at the time. And so being firm with your questions, but also respecting the fact that there was a loss and this was traumatic for her.
All right. Thank you so much, Joanna. So great to have you on with us. We appreciate all your expertise.